What's up, everybody? Before we start this video, I want to take one quick second to let you guys know what's coming up. I got a couple of cool interviews lined up, so that's going to be coming out shortly. And I tried out a new format today. Let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun doing this video. And it goes a little bit long because this was the first time I actually did a live recording of me doing a build. So let me know what you guys think. All right, see you in the video. What is going on, fellow Gaslanders? It's your boy Fo, and I'm coming at you with yet another video talking about the game I'm playing the most right now, and that's Gaslands, baby. That is Gaslands. I've been having a good time, and I've been playing this game a ton. Now, I really wish I could say I've been painting a ton, but work's been super hectic. And between working and actually getting some game time in, which usually when I'm busy with work, I don't play games, I don't do nothing. Because, you know, the wife is sneaking up on me. She has plans. She got things going on. So I'm going to work during the week. The weekend, my girl's dropping in like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible on a rope behind me. And she's like, guess what? We have plans. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But as of late, I've been able to get some game time in as well. So I'm very happy with that. And I hope everybody's been having an awesome summer and getting in tons of games. And not been having a totally hectic summer like I've had because work had a bunch of issues. Okay, that's a new topic. I'm not even going to get into that because we're here to talk about games. We're here to talk about Gaslands. What I have in front of you are 3 cars. And you're looking at these bits. You're like, what are these things? This isn't your normal run-of-the-mill M60 machine guns, you know, Thompsons and cannons and hardcore spikes and metal plates and the such. But guess what this is? We're going biomechanical, baby. Now, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I had the idea in my head for a very long time to do biomechanical builds. And I had a whole little story in my head, and I just been doing other things because there's just so many things I want to do in Gaslands that, you know, my attention span is crazy. And I haven't been this excited about a game in a long time where my attention span is bouncing all over the place. I can't even talk to you guys right now because that's how excited I am about this game. Now, all that aside, okay, all that aside, all that hype about Time Extended 2, which was fantastic. Oh, I just bumped into my camera mount. My bad. Anyway, I've been looking to do biomechanical. I said that like 4 times already. But I've been wanting to do it for a while. Now, I've seen a little bit here and there. People been using Tyranid builds on their cars. You know, it's not something brand new. And I had a bunch of NID parts. And I thought it would be perfect to add to my biomechanical builds. I'm going to do quote unquote biomechanical. Now, the story behind it is Michigan, one of Michigan's inventors, brought a team to the championships, and the team and the inventor got the ticket to Mars. And guess what? While this inventor was in Mars, it's not like he went there just a vacation on Mars, you know, ride the red sand dunes, chill out with some cool alien hunks, because the doctor I'm talking about is Svetlana, and she is a very ambitious Michigan inventor, and she was so ambitious she took her team to the champion. She won a bunch of races, and she won enough to get her and her team a ticket to Mars. But while she was there, she couldn't get enough of Gaslands. Just like me, just like you, just like everybody watching this video, she couldn't get enough of it. And she was coming up with different ways to get back into the game of Gaslands, the races, the death races, the death arenas, all that stuff. She was missing it, she wanted to get back into it. But while she was on Mars, she had access to new technology that we don't have on Earth. And she found out that she could mix organisms that kind of act like a symbiote and actually mend themselves to the mechanical parts and inner workings of the cars that she works on. And when she found this out, she did her research, she went bananas. And what she did was, she actually came back down to Earth with her new technology, her new biomechanical research, and she wants to get back into the races, proving to everybody that she's unstoppable. Now, with all that story out of the way, with all that crazy stuff, let's get into the parts. So I found these 3 cars in the box of cars. I didn't open up anything new, but this is what I had in the box. And I found some cool stuff. Now, this middle car, I thought looked pretty, ready to look like it's, ready to take on like an alien form. This, the reds and the blues and the shape of it just gave me that like sense of like alien technology. So I'm picking this bad boy for one of the cars. Then I had this cool Sonic the Hedgehog, like a drag racer or whatever, a formula car. And I must have had it for a while, because who knows how long, they were making these Sonic the Hedgehog cards by Sega. And I like the 3 sets of wheels on each side. I like the 3 axles. So that was cool. I thought that was something very cool. So I chose to pick this car, and I had some ideas for weapon mounts. And then I picked this bad boy. I'm not even sure what this is exactly from. This is from, I don't know, it was made 2014, so it's not that old. So I got this. It looked like it had some parts, or some parts were to clip into this. This was obviously something that my kids were playing with, so I don't know much about it. So those are the 3 vehicles that I picked. Then I went into the bits box, and I found a whole bunch of Tyranid parts that I thought would look good in this biomechanical builds. And what I did was, I found these like spiky husks. Now, in the beginning, I had an idea that on the sprue, they got these like little things that look like the face sucker aliens from the movie Aliens, that like suck onto your face. And it looked like a little brain. And I thought about putting this brain on top of every car. But the thing is, it looked too vulnerable to have this exposed brain be like the operation of the car. So what I did was, I found something that looked similar to those face hug aliens, but it looks like it has like a very tough exoskeleton. And it still kind of has that same shape. So this is going to be the main implant on all the vehicles. And this is what starts the biomechanical process. So Svetlana installs one of these on every car, and then they start to dig their way into the car and make their way, and it's a growing process. So not only is there like mechanical process, getting the cars ready to accept the hosts, but now you have to have patience as the host starts to take over the inner workings and mix and bore its flesh into the parts and into the gears until eventually it could take over as the main driver of these cars. And one of the reasons why I picked this car right here is because this fits so good in that spot. It looks like it goes. It fits right in there. Look at that. That's going to be so cool. It just fits, looks like it's like a perfect fit. The other ones are going to be a little bit more challenging. Probably going to go with a mount, maybe something like that on this one. Get that in there. And then on this one, thinking I'm probably going to attach it to the hood. You know, instead of having a souped up engine coming out of the hood, you got this carapace of the host that's going to be taking over this vehicle. As for weapons, I found some really cool Tyranid cannons, Tyranid weaponry, which I'm going to use as, I'm going to put 2 on the back of here. So I'm thinking about having them come off on each side over here. Kind of have like twin linked or 2 machine guns or heavy machine guns or lasers, whatever I want to use them for. I just think these are going to look pretty nasty on the top of this build. And then on this guy right here, I'm going to mount a BFG. So we could either use this as a BFG, or we could use it as maybe a missile, a homing missile launcher, just something big, something explosive, and that's going to go right on the back of this bad boy. So I'm going to mount it where it's kind of just coming over the top. I think that's going to look sleek. I'm going to cut the tube, where the tube is going to be going into the car, and we're going to use some green stuff to make this all work. And the green stuff work is going to be pretty easy because we want it to look biomechanical. We want it to look like living organism and flesh kind of mixing together. So with the green stuff, you know, we're not going to have to make super clean, sharp edges because it's going to look more like organics, tentacles maybe, just, you know, fleshy. And then on this bad boy, we're going to put one of these on each side, right there. And again, those are going to be either machine guns or light machine guns, whatever it is we could think of. Death ray. And now the cool part about using biomechanicals is that you could also, it's really easy to factor in the Michigan style weapons too, because this thing could shoot, say, like what counts as an electrical charge, and it could just be shooting some kind of gelatinous goop that does the same thing. And that's what's kind of cool about this, where we're going to be able to maybe use some of the Michigan weaponry. Even the weapon that does the big sound and pushes everybody, that could be like a sonic wave that just comes off of the host itself. And we got some bunch of spikes. We got talons and spikes that we're going to implement into the vehicles. We got these cool carapace pieces with spikes. Again, adding more to that like biomechanical build. Then we got some antennas, which I thought were pretty cool. We got these antenna pieces, which are pretty neat. And of course, you got more carapace pieces, more like spikes that look very organic, which is the feel that I'm going for. So we have a lot of cool parts here to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce off. I'm going to clean the pieces up a little bit. And then I'm going to come back at you guys and we're going to throw some of this stuff on. I'm going to mix up a bunch of green stuff and we're going to build these things. All right, peeps. Let's now get into some of the building process on these bad boys. So I separated a couple of parts into separate piles. And I had a couple of ideas as I was getting these parts ready on what I wanted to do with these. So let's get, first and foremost, let's open up the Gorilla Glue and let's get these hosts where they're supposed to be on the vehicles. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue right around the edge. See how this goes. I had a crazy time getting my lunch today, by the way. Went out for lunch. The girl's ringing up my order. I went to one of the best Chinese restaurants in New York City. They're not really known as the best, but in my neighborhood, they're amazing. Where I work, this place is amazing. Anyway, she's ringing up my order. The order came out to $17 and like 12 cents. Midway, while she was ringing me up, the register froze and she actually had to give me my change and count it herself. The face of utter horror when she had to count, and I gave her a 20, listen, I handed her a $20 bill. Okay, it was $17 and change. It's not a lot of math to do. And the face she put on, she turned white. She turned physically white that she had to count the change and give me back my change. Don't worry, I helped her through the process, got my change. Everything was okay. But I thought that was funny that, you know, when the register goes down, it was like an utter nightmare for her. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was hilarious. Check this out. So, got the one situated in there really good. So, check that bad boy out. It looks like it was made to fit in that cockpit. Isn't that crazy? Fits in perfectly. Even the little edge on the bottom, just like it goes so good with it. It looks like it was meant to sit there. So this is going to take the least amount of green stuff when I'm doing this bad boy. So I'm just getting used to like bringing the car up to the camera. So I'm digging how these are coming out so far. So we got the first host in. Sorry, you're not Sonic anymore, buddy. Now you're just part of Svetlana's host. So we're gonna glue this next one right around there. This should be really good. So I'm gonna glue that in. Let's get this glue going. Bang, bang, boom. Toss that in there. Get some glue right on that edge. And this should go right perfectly over. It's kind of got to fit this thing like it's a mask. I'm digging it. When this is painted, it's gonna look crazy. So I'm totally digging this. Let me bring it into a better view. So we got this bad boy right in there. There we go. I think that fits pretty good. So we got host number 2 on there. Then we're gonna pop on the last and final host in the car number 3. A little bit of glue right there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, son? Get some glue. Now this we're gonna put here. We're kind of gonna make it look like it's gonna go in the place where normally you'd have like a nice big muscle engine coming out of the hood, or like a really big fat blower on it. But instead, it's gonna have alien technology. Give it, center it really good. There you go. Easy peasy. Everything's gonna blend in better once we get the green stuff. But for now, I just want to get the places where they're supposed to be. Because what I like to do is I like to glue all my pieces in. This way, the less green stuff work we have to do, the better. So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna fill in the gaps, fill in underneath there, and just make it look like it's infused with the hood of this car. So that's the second symbiote put in. Now the weapons, what I had an idea for the weapons is, well, first and foremost, I'll put some glue on the back of this bad boy right here. Now I didn't strip these down because lately I've been painting over the paint jobs, and for me they've been coming out really good. But with this biomechanical build, I'm not looking for sharp lines. I'm looking for more of an organic feel. So actually the paint over the paint is going to actually lend itself to the look I'm going for. I want to lose some of those like really harsh, sharp edges that make it look metallic. This piece just looked like it was born to be there. Look at that. That piece looked like it was born to fit on the back of that car like that. So we got that going there. Now this cannon, the way I want to do it, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think I see where what I want to do with it and where I want to go with it. So we're going to, right now, I was thinking about putting it over the top, but now I'm starting to change my mind. I don't know if I want this cannon up here like this, because I kind of look like the profile, but you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to put it right over the top like that. So what I did was I made a little mount that I'm going to add right here. Let's put the glue on. Now I made this spot, I made this mount, so we're gonna have to come back to this. So this is gonna go here, and this is gonna hold the cannon in place. Get my glue off my finger, got a little bit of glue on my fingers. So that's gonna hold it in. That's the mount coming along. Everything will make more sense once the green stuff starts to go on there and tie everything all together. Now, for these talons, I got one of them is cut perfectly, and that's this one. And I'm gonna put it there right now where I want it to be. Now the other one wasn't cut as perfect as this one. Hold that in place. This is why I love Gorilla Glue, because it sets quickly. So we're gonna have one of these on each side. I think that's just gonna add a really nasty look to this car. This profile is gonna start to come out really good. Now this one isn't gonna go on as smoothly. I thought I had it exactly to where it had to be, but I was wrong. So I'm gonna have to trim it down a little bit to get it to fit like that. And then I'm gonna have to put in green stuff. So let's do that now. Let's get that angle that I need. So I'm gonna take the putty knife, cut it in the angle. I think this is the exact angle right here. So yeah, look at that. Boom, first try. Sometimes I feel like I'm just the man when it comes to stuff like this. I actually don't even really need a lot of green stuff after looking at it. I got very lucky with that cut. That was crazy. So I get in some glue right there. I can't believe how lucky I actually got with that cut. That's pretty sick. Hold it in place. There we go. Sounds good. You know, not set as easy, huh? Now, this is the first time that I'm actually doing a live build while recording. Normally, I like to, you know, get my pieces, you know, tell everybody what I'm gonna do with the pieces, get them all together, put them on the car, and then go back and explain. Now, I felt like that takes less time. So this video is gonna be a little longer because I'm actually taking you through the process live on camera, which normally I don't do. And I want you guys to let me know. What do you guys like better? Do you guys like me talking with you guys as I build? Or would you rather the videos be a little shorter and I just basically explain everything I do step by step? Like the first part of the video I would have where I showed you all the pieces. Then I would cut up the pieces, attach everything to the vehicle. Then I would normally go over everything with you and tell you what I did. But I wouldn't record it live because I just feel like it takes a lot of time. But let's do it this way, and you guys let me know what you guys prefer. Go back and look at my Michigan build and tell me what style you guys like. Because I don't mind doing it either way. You guys will keep me company as I'm building these. I kind of feel like I'm with everybody. I'm in, you know, I'm at the game club and we're all doing a build and we're all just talking. Only right now it's me just doing all the talking, which is fine. I'm cool with that because I can talk. So right now, look at this. This is looking pretty sick. This is looking really sick right now. So I'm really digging that. I'm gonna put that down. And can we go back to the Canon? I'm gonna let that set a little bit better. Now we're gonna go with these parts right here. And I wanna get these mounted right here. So these have to be a little bit more flat on the bottom. So I'm gonna get these flatter and then we'll talk. So I'm gonna grind it on the bottom to make it flat so it fits onto that hood nice and flush. Do a little bit of scrapage right there. This will also probably be a little bit more interesting once I have some music playing in the background, stuff like that. You know, you gotta be careful when you're making these videos. Like, I can't have music in the background because I'll be hit with copyright and then you won't be able to hear anything I'm saying. So I trimmed these down a little bit, made it flat on the bottom. Put a toss on the Gorilla Glue. Did I tell you how much I love Gorilla Glue? I mean, you would think I work for the company, but I don't. Because I used to use like the Games Workshop glue or just Crazy Glue, because Crazy Glue was super cheap. And Crazy Glue was my go-to glue for a long time. You could jump on down to the dollar store, you could get a tube of Crazy Glue. Now, I felt like the tubes of Crazy Glue you get from the dollar store were never as good as the ones if you went to like Walmart, Duane Reade, and you had to pay like $3 or $4. I have a feeling the ones at the 99-cent store are old batches. Just something. I don't know if it's just me, but it just never felt as if the Crazy Glue from the dollar store, even though they're both the same brand, they both say Crazy Glue on the bottle, I just feel like the Crazy Glue from the dollar stores weren't as good as the Crazy Glue from like Walmart or Duane Reade, a drugstore, where you're paying like $2 and change. But that is, it might be just something mental. Maybe I thought it was, because I don't know. I just felt like when I picked up a bottle from the more expensive stores, like it was better. Even the packaging was slightly better. I just think the ones from the dollar store, either a little bootleg or they were old formulas. This is looking pretty good. So we're gonna twist this a little bit. There we go. Check that out. Check that out. These two biomechanical guns on the front. I'm digging that. That's looking pretty cool. So I'm gonna go with some green stuff in there when we get to the green stuff portion. So we got the guns on there. Now I seen this really cool piece that I know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. I'm just gonna trim it up a little bit. So I want it to fit right in a certain spot. So get the glue on it. Putting this right here. Sick. Sick. That's coming out pretty cool, the profile so far. I'm digging it. Now once we get the green stuff, I keep on saying it, but then I got these cool spikes that I cut off of one of those tail pieces, and I'm gonna put it on this guy's wing. Let's put the two dots of glue. Now, I'm also being a little bit more liberal with the glue because that's going to add to the effect. Like I want a little bit of the glue maybe coming out the sides. So when I paint it up, you kind of get the little bit of like seam, I guess it would make from like the glue spilling out the bottom of the piece. That might add a little bit to like the organic feel of the whole thing. And also allows me to be a little bit lazy. So I had an idea to put these right here. I think I'm gonna like it, yeah. That looks... Oh, I see what I did. I gotta cut the other one. I gotta trim the other one down a little bit more. Okay. Not a big deal. I took the other one down a little bit closer to the edge. So man, it's not lining up exactly right. See, this is where you run into issues. This is where you gotta do, you know, it's coming together so good, but there's always a point where you gotta just, things don't want to line up exactly how you want it, and you gotta play with it. So rub off some of the old glue. Let's see. So we're gonna have to cut this. Hopefully this does the trick. So we got that cut off there. Now normally when I work, I like to pull my car really close to me as I work, so it's also, since I'm working with the camera on, there you go. Look at that. That's looking wicked, coming off the top of there. I'm digging that. So you got that. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this cannon on top of that. See, now when I put it down, I look at it, I just got to tweak it just a little bit. Because I kind of want it to be, I know it's organic, but I kind of want it to be organic but symmetrical as well. All right, so what I'm going to try and do is, I'm going to try and get this cannon onto the top of this car. It's going to be a lot of green stuff work. I have a lot of green stuff work ahead of me, I know it. So I'm going to cut this tube off. I really want to keep that tube, so I'm going to come back and probably reinstall these biomechanical tube looking things. But as of right now, I want to put this, I want to mount this right here. So let's give this the angle that I'm looking for. I don't know about this, let's see. Got this angle right here, just like this. Almost there. I gotta cut the back a little bit. Oh, I was putting it backwards. This looks a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that like that, so. Shape that like that. And boom. You know, the hard part is like you have to visualize what you're gonna do with the green stuff. And sometimes when you're new at working with green stuff, it's hard to do that visual. And the thing is, you know, trying to come up with, you know, a cool, you know, I'm trying to explain, like, when you're new to green stuff, you know, it's hard to visualize what you want to do because you don't know where your skill level is at, where you're going to, you know, if you're going to be able to sculpt what you have in, you know, the ideas you have in your head, are you going to be able to sculpt them? You know, I'm not a great sculptor, but I could do enough to where I can make things blend together. Like, I can't sculpt a new face or head or like a hand. I mean, I could do a hand if I really needed to, but it would be super hard to do for me. What I learned to do when I learned green stuff, I learned by doing fur. So by adding fur onto the top of cloaks, or if you know, had to put together a wolf or a bear, and I had to cover the gaps. So I had to sculpt in fur to cover the gaps. Now, fur is one of the easier things to sculpt. And there's plenty of tutorials on the internet to like get started with sculpting and getting fur and like how to sculpt fur. I felt like fur really got me into it. And when I felt comfortable sculpting the fur, I moved on to like leather straps, and then, you know, leather bands. And then from there, I went on to like being able to sculpt like a full cloak, to sculpt, you know, full fabric cloaks. And then just from that point on, it just gets a little easier and easier. But a good starting ground for green stuff is to do like cloth and to do fur, because there's a lot of easy techniques, and then it just gets you used to working with green stuff. All right, so I got this cannon finally in place. So got the cannon on there. I think it's looking good. I mean, it looks a little flat in the back, but that's because I gotta, you know, do some magic with the green stuff and make it look better than that. So I'm kind of liking it. I kind of want to leave this one sleek like this. I might add some spikes. Let's put some spikes on this thing. Kind of liking to have it just a cannon, keep it slick, keep it simple. I want to, you know, these are biomechanical, but I also want them to be kind of sleek. I don't want them to look bulky. I want them to look kind of sleek. I think that's going to be cool. I think that adds to their alien feel. Let's get some, I'm getting some spikes ready. Loving this large spike right here. Thinking this large spike could go right here maybe. Oh, that's cool because it's a hole. That hole is actually starting to work in my favor a little bit, because I could stick in the spike and it looks like it's coming out. So that's cool. Makes it look even more organic. Let's do that. So I'm gonna shave this down a little bit so it could fit in there really nice. That could go in there just like that. Could I trim down the bottom a little bit? Let's get some glue on there. When I get in there, I want it to fit nice. It actually looks really good. It's like, oh yeah. So we kind of got that horn now coming out of the front of it. I'm digging that. Now what I want to add are these long spikes that actually came off the jaw of one of the larger aliens from the Tyranid sprue. I just cut them right off the jaw. Because I do these cool organic looking spikes and I really wanted to incorporate them into the build. So I got 2. And we could do 2 of these medium spikes. So what I want to do is I want to have the 2 long ones and then we'll do 2 short ones. So 2 longer ones in the middle and then the 2 shorter ones on the sides. And we got these slots that they just fit perfectly. I feel like we just made for these. So this car is actually working really good. It's, you know, not perfect. You gotta trim it down a little bit to get it to fit in properly. Nice. So we got 1 in there. So that's gonna fit good, just like that. That's gonna look good. Just want them just to curve up just slightly. So you got these cool, like, organic, like, striations underneath, which really give it a cool overall look. This one we gotta do the same thing. We gotta trim it down just the same way. So we're gonna trim out some from the bottom and then trim right in from the top. Make it a little bit flat. Boom, this one's gonna fit in just the same way. Perfect. Let's get it pop right in there. I'm actually pretty pumped how well these are all going together. You know, I ran into very little problems. Like, I feel like just everything is just coming together so nicely. Super smooth. You could see, like, I really didn't plan much of this. Like, I looked at the cars I wanted to use, how I think they would work good, and they're just working out just extremely good. Check that out. So you kind of got the horn in the center of the 2. That looks pretty menacing. And then we're gonna put some glue in there to add the 2 smaller spikes, and we'll be all set. I kind of want to do like side, yeah, like that. Put this one on here too. It's just giving off a really cool aesthetic of spikes. It's looking totally cool. And boom, look at that. Look at that profile. That's looking really good. So you got a cool profile in the front, coming off to the side as well. All right, so we got on the spikes. So we got the spikes on. That's where we left off. So I think we're ready for green stuff. I was thinking about putting a couple of more spikes on this guy. And I had gotten the guns on this. What happened was I was getting the guns on this guy, and I noticed that the video, for some reason, don't know what happened, I didn't touch nothing, it wasn't recording. So I lost some of the video of me attaching the guns to the back of the car. But the point is, we got them on. They're looking pretty good. We still got to do some work to the back of these to make them look right. But what I did was I took some green stuff and I sculpted in the bottom of the gun to kind of make it look like an organic growth coming out. I put in some holes, which looks very alien-like, and I got that on top of the exhausts. So that's looking pretty good. I like the way it turned out, and I'm happy with it. So this guy is just about ready to get a little bit of green stuff to seal some things away. And he's gonna be ready to rock. He's gonna be ready for paint. I might add one more thing I saw that I'm gonna toss in there. I'm loving this guy. Check him out. So that's going there just like that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna take my Gorilla Glue, and I wanted to put a spike right on the front. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint this front fin. I'm gonna paint this front fin as if it was the same material as these talons. So they're kind of gonna look like a bone. It's kind of gonna look like a bone. And I got this coming up right here. So I like that. Just want to add a little bit to the front. Got that spike on there. Curved up a little bit. It's gonna look dangerous. And I'm gonna paint this front fin like I just said. I'm gonna paint that like I'm gonna paint the talons. So that's gonna look very organic as well. And then when I get the green stuff going, I'm gonna put some green stuff onto the bodies of these cars. And I'm gonna paint in some organic plating, which should blend everything together. So I'm digging this guy. Only thing I'm gonna do now is to the back of these two weapons. Now these aren't totally hardened yet, so I'm gonna adjust them slightly. I must have hit it when I was messing with it. So I'm gonna put some spikes coming on the back of these guns, so they're not just like a flat backing. I want them to make, look like it was more natural. I gotta hide where I cut the hands, the alien hands, off the back of these. So that's gonna go there like that. And this is gonna add a pretty cool look to the back of the vehicle too. It's gonna make it look pretty sleek. With these talons coming off the back of these weapons right here. So we got one. You got my dog in the background. She's walking around. You can hear her leash. Well, not her leash, her collar. With all her different tags. In New York, you gotta have a whole bunch of tags for your dogs. I'm sorry, it's kind of off camera putting these on there. So I got these two talons coming off the back of the weapons. So now they're just not like this flat in the back. And it kind of adds a nice like aerodynamic feel to the overall car. Bring this one up a little bit. This one might come down. There we go. This one got to be turned a little bit slightly side. And those are looking good. There you go. Also, another reason, while I'm doing this paint job, it does take a while to get the stuff done. The length of the video, and it's hard to keep my house quiet for like a super long amount of time. I got the dog, I got the little ones, I got the wife sneaking around. It's all that jazz. So, but if you guys don't mind, I don't mind. We're just here to make some fun content. So that right there is done. So I'm calling that guy done. This guy's ready for paint. He's ready to get primed. I'm gonna let that green stuff dry. I might add a little bit more green stuff when I make a big batch. Let's see what kind of spikes we could add to this bad boy. Oh, I found these antennas. That's what I was saying. So I found these antennas, and I found a perfect spot to put these antennas, which I think is gonna look cool for this particular car. So we're gonna put some glue on this antenna. I got these holes right here on the sides. And I'm gonna stick these antennae in. I just think it's gonna give off a cool look for this vehicle. So that's one right there. Then we're gonna put this one right here. So you got these two antennae. I like it. It's coming up pretty good. I like the way it looks. Get those back a little bit. I'm digging it. Digging the antenna there. So we'll leave that like that. Then we're gonna put this piece, another one of these pieces that I found right here. All right, so we're gonna put this right on the back of the cannon, because we can't just have the cannon flat like that in the back. So we're gonna stick that right back there. Boom. Kind of finished off the look of the cannon. I'm digging that for sure. Yeah, I'm digging that. That looks good right back there. Now I want to add some spikes to the front of this, just to give this thing kind of like a menacing look. So I'm going to put some glue on here, put some glue here. Kind of have an idea in my head how I want these spikes to come out. So let's see if the idea in if I have in my head will come out the way I want. Got two right there. Back this one up slightly. You know, still trying to keep them kind of symmetrical to one another. So far, so good. So we got two right there. And then we're gonna have two on the bottom coming out. Let's get these other two. Actually, I wanted two. That's right. I wanted two on the top. So we got to move these over a little bit because I wanted two on top. Let's move this one over a tad bit. So I wanted to put two. Let's put a little bit more glue. All right, so we got two on top. You want to do it just like this. Get them just right is going to be a little bit annoying. All right, so you got two on there. Then I'm going to put the other one on the other side. So I have two on each side. Sorry. So we got the two coming off right there. Just like so. Then I'm going to have one coming up, one talon coming up from the bottom to give like an overall look. Now I got larger talons for the bottom one. Got one bottom in the center. I'm digging that, actually. And then you got one right there. So they almost have like, kind of like grabbers, like pincers that could grab. Now I'm thinking about leaving that red plastic when I paint it. But we'll see, I might have to paint it so I can blend this all together, so that might not work out for this build. But yeah, I like the way that front came out. Alright, so this guy is done. Now the only thing left to do is to get this green stuff going. Got all the parts. So I got my putty shapers. Now these are called clay shapers and color shapers. And what these are, they're silicone tipped like paintbrushes almost. Like this one comes to a fine point. This one comes to like a wedge. And I might have a third one somewhere. I'm not sure if I have a third one. No, I just got these two. So one's a clay shaper, which is the fine point black one. And this is a clay shaper. Now what's cool about this, it works with the putty, and since it's silicone tipped, it doesn't stick to it. You know, when you work with a toothpick or a metal tool, you got to constantly keep it wet or the green stuff will stick to it. But these silicone tips of these doesn't get stuck. They're a little bit softer, but they're firm enough to do some sculpting work with the green stuff. So I'm gonna take my 2-part putty. Got my 2 pieces right here. I got these a long time ago. So if you get a large enough, like, don't get these from Games Workshop. Get them from like an art supply store. They usually have a really big tube. I've literally had this tube. I bought it for $10, but I bought it like 7 years ago. Like, it was a lot longer when I got it. It was a large tube of putty, but it lasts a long time. Especially if you're not sculpting full models and full pieces, it's gonna last you a long time. Like for someone who just has to fill in gaps or do putty work like I'm doing, it lasts a super long time. I had this for a very long time. So I'm gonna take a piece of the yellow. Now, depending on if you want longer or shorter dry time. So if you add more of the blue side, which is the more firmer side, it will be a little bit stiffer to work with. And then if you add more of the softer side, which in this one is the yellow, it will take a little longer to dry and it'll be softer to work with. I like to try and get it somewhere in the middle, which is what I like to do. Now, if you don't have any tools, it's good to have water. It's, you know, so you could smooth out your putty. But I'm looking for, and even like some people wear like rubber gloves so you don't get your fingerprints in the putty, because that happens a lot. But I kind of want this to have an organic feel, so having some striations from the fingertips is not a big deal to me. So I'm cool with it. Let's get this mixed up. All right, so once you got this nice and mixed, I'll lick my fingertips a little bit just so I can just work it in there, so it's not sticking to my fingers as I mix it. All right, so what I wanted to do was, I wanted to finish the back of these weapons up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little ball, a little piece. I'm gonna roll it into a little ball. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wedge it into the back of that right there. Then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. I'm gonna wedge it to the back as well. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my clay shaper and I'm gonna just push it up against this piece and I'm gonna shape it in there. I'm going to push it up over a little bit because I want to lose the edge. I'm kind of just going to blend this right into the piece. See what I'm doing there? What I'm doing is I'm thinning out that line, so I'm pushing it into the piece, kind of like doing paint strokes over it so I can blend it into the thing. And then what I want to do is wet my putty knife a little bit because I don't want to lose the detail of that spike. So I got a little bit of the edge showing through the putty, so I'm going to push some more of the putty back up. And I'm going to push this down into, just want to make it look like it's coming and blending into this vent. I want to give it like, putting in some like, it's hard to keep focus. I'm adding these like, kind of like holes to give it that like organic feel. I want it to like twist. I don't want it to be too straight. This way this is gonna be easy. See how I'm just kind of smashing it in there? Let's make it look like it's connected. I'm gonna pull it up a little bit because I want it to look, yeah, just like that. I want it to look like kind of like it's oozing into the car. So kind of like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to push that putty down. I'm going to move it away from that spike where the host is stored. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push this down. I'm going to pull it down. Give it that like organic look. Push this, make a few holes, and then pull the hole down. There we go. Even take your finger and just make sure it just blends in. So you want to just rub it in. Make sure your finger's wet though. And I'm gonna kind of ooze this into the hood, just like I did with the other side. Now, it doesn't gotta be perfect, because like I said, you want it to look organic, so it doesn't have to be like super straight edges or anything. That's it. I kind of got it look like it's just blended into the hood there. So you got that there. Now what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of putty underneath the front of where the host attached itself to the vehicle. This is kind of weird, you got that space. So I wet the putty. I'm going to squeeze it right up on there. Now we just lost that space, and now it looks like it's more like attached. Rather than just glued on, you know? It looks like it's more attached to the hood now, rather than just stuck on top of there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some in the back too. Drop my putty. Drop my putty, of course. You know, I love my dog, but you drop something on the floor. When you own a dog, you drop something on the floor. It doesn't matter how many times you sweep. It doesn't matter how many times you mop, you vacuum. You drop something on the floor. If it has a little bit of stickiness to it, you can have dog hair on it. It's just part of having a dog. I love my dog. She's the best, but I could do without the hair on my green stuff. You know, my dog's awesome. I got a nice German Shepherd. You know, I love big dogs, small dogs, but for me, when I own a dog, I like to have a dog that has a little bit of like mass to him. Just because I always felt like I want the dog to have a little bit of utility rather than me just pampering it and take care of it. At least, you know, I have a nice big German Shepherd, and they're very protective over the family. So, you know, God forbid, you know, I got my dog watching my back. And she's a big dog too, that a lot of people are afraid of when she gets angry. But she's such a sweetheart. She's such a sweetheart, but she is very protective. My dog is insanely protective of the family. As a matter of fact, we were walking the dog one time, and someone came with a jar to like collect money. We were walking her, and there was like, you know, a guy, like, you know, he was asking for a change. And I think he was a little drunk, and he tripped over and he like tripped towards my son. And let me tell you, she was all happy. She was all like licking me, and like this, like a beat. She didn't even drop a beat. She jumped, and she got between my son and this guy who wasn't coming after my son. He tripped, but it looked like he was like lunging. She was in between this guy and my son in like 2 seconds flat. She was growling. The guy freaked out, you know. But it felt good, you know. It's like, that's really cool that I know that, you know, we take care of her. And you always want to know, is your dog going to have your back? And it was good to know that my dog has my back. She's super cool. All right, so we put in some more green stuff in the back over here where the host is, so it looks like it's just oozing into the car, and it's not just glued on there. It's just like it's actually attached. And we're going to do the same thing with that piece on the top. Blah blah. So I'm going to roll this up. See, look, I felt like I did a lot of work, and I didn't even used that much green stuff. That's why it lasts a long time. Do the same thing. We're going to stick this under here. And have it come up like that. I'm going to jam this in there. Do I need it in the back? Yeah, you can kind of see it. Let me put a little tiny bit. I'm going to stuff it in. There's like a space in there. So I'm just going to get it in there and just... It's going to be hard because I can't really reach. There we go. Drop it in there. We're just going to cram it in there. Good. There you go. We got the green stuff in there. It's all puttied up. Give it that organic feel. Now we're going to take some putty. Gonna lick my fingers a little bit. Just gonna stick it right onto the side right here. I kind of wanted to blend it in. I want it to fade into the car, just like that. See how I'm like stretching it out so it kind of fades into the car. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it kind of look like kind of give it like, I'm going to try and paint this up to look like striations. I'm going to take this, we're going to bend this in there like that. Do the same thing here. Same thing like that. There you go. See how we got that, like, kind of looks like armor plating coming, like growing out of the car. And that we're doing on both sides. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna open it up. Do the same exact thing. Now, I don't want it to be exactly the same on both sides, so have this one come over the wheel a little bit more. Now, same thing, we're going to do those same, like, sort of like markings. So we're going to have this one dig in there like that. Same thing here. There you go. Alright, so that's done. This car is pretty much finito. Got all the green stuff work on it. This guy, green stuff wise, could use a little bit. Oh, that gun looks good like that. I only got to get in with the green stuff. Tell you the truth. I'm good. Green stuff wise, this guy doesn't really need much. I'm trying to look for some gaps and stuff, but it's really not much. You know what? Put some in there. Gap in the back here. Now, since these cars are taken up by, like, these organisms, they don't really require much gas. That's the genius of it, because they literally become one with the gears and it controls everything by itself. Like, you ever sit down with your kid and there was a movie about this, like, truck, and there was a monster in the truck. I forgot the name of the movie. And when the monster kind of did the same thing. It attached itself to the truck. And instead of, like, using gas, it, like, wrapped its tentacles around the axles and would spin it manually. And that's kind of like the same idea with these is, like, it's, you know, the host goes in and it blends all its organisms and tentacles, whatever you want to call it, and they get into the gears, they get into the pistons, and they wind up just mechanically do it themselves. Now, instead of, like, fuel, these things need to eat. And I don't know what they eat. I'm not even going to think about that right now. That's a little too deep to go at this moment. So maybe, you know, they stay around after the race and they just consume the corpses that are laying around that no one's going to claim. Yeah, we got some putty in there. And like this fit on top of here so well, there's no gaps. I really don't need the putty like I did on this one. This is way more clean. I'm digging that. I might stick some back there. I might put a little bit. Doesn't need a lot at all. Everything just fit to this car like perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna put some back here. Oh, there's a small gap there. Yeah, I'm digging this. I don't really need any more green stuff anywhere on this guy. This guy's done. I wanted to put some of the autumn painting on this one like I did to the side of that car. So we're gonna put 2 spots. I'm gonna do one right there. We're gonna get in there and work it with our fingers. Gotta be careful now because I got these talons. The same thing, I wanna get it where I kinda make it blend into the car. There you go. So that's blended like that. Put one on that. So I'm going to do one on the same thing on the other side. You know, and I really hope that this green stuff work. Like, I hope that you know, if anybody doesn't work with green stuff that much, they could pick up, you know, they could see it's not that hard to work with. Like, I'm not nowhere near a green stuff pro. And no one really taught me. I just looked up on the internet a couple of things, and you got to practice with it. You get the feel of it, just like anything else. Same thing. Take my wedge, but I give it that like same look. Get in there with the wedge. Give it that like same like riveted look. Come in here, the same thing. It doesn't have to be perfect because I want it to look a little rough. There you go. When it's painted, it's gonna make so much more sense. So, I don't know what I'm gonna call the team yet. Maybe Team Symbiote or something to that effect. Maybe the Hive. That might be pretty cool. So there you go, guys. You got the 3 cards ready to rock and roll. What I did was I took the camera off the mount. This way I could just get in some different angled shots. I have better control, so you get a good look of the finished product. So I really had no control of the focus and the angle. So here we go. So we got car number 1. You got the plating kind of sculpted into the sides. You got the host coming out of the engine. You got 2 machine guns. Those are going to be machine guns. Those weapons mounted on either side of the hood. Those could be machine guns or whatever kind of gun you want. You Got these cool spikes on the front. They have this like organic feel to the spikes, which is really cool about them. Then I put two more talons coming off the back, kind of just blended right in with that back tail. Happy with the way these came out. Put that down. It's car number 1. And you got this bad boy. You got the BFG. I want to do a BFG, so this could be a BFG, it could be a homing missile launcher, it could be a missile launcher, anything explosives, it could be a laser, it could be one of the new laser guns. Whatever you want to make the weapon, it's a large gun, just whatever you want to make it, make it. I'm going to use it as a BFG probably, because I think it would be super cool. I've been wanting to test out the BFG, I haven't tried it yet. So I have a car that finally looks like it has one, so that's pretty cool. Also, I had really good luck with the homing missiles. I played a game over last week, and the homing missiles, it stopped a player who took off right away, managed to hit him with the homing missile. He already took a little bit of damage, and I was able to scrap him. You know, homing missile hit, scrapped him, and took that guy out of the race. It was pretty cool. The homing missile definitely works. It's, you know, it's a little pricey, but it works. You got this cool tail piece. Just digging this one. I think this one might be my favorite out of the 3. I don't know. You got the 2 antennas coming up. I thought that was a nice little touch. And the last but not least, you got Talon. Name of this guy Talon. You got the cool talons. You got the host fit right in that cockpit perfectly. You got the 2 guns on top. Again, those could be heavy machine guns. Those could be laser rifles. Whatever you want. Basically, when you're doing something like this, you're shooting some sort of organic alien technology. So whatever you want to make it, you make it. That's what's great about this Biomechanical team. So there you go, guys. I had a good time building these cars. Had a good time talking to you. And let me know what you think about the video. I'm like so tired right now. Let me know what you think about it. If you like this style, which lends to a little bit longer video. But you know what? If you're at work and you're burning some time, or you're sitting at the painting table while you're painting, what I like to do is I like to watch YouTube videos of people doing modeling, gaming, while I'm painting. So it's pretty perfect, because I have my computer right next to my gaming station. So when I'm painting, I could easily look up and watch a video. So you guys might like the longer videos, but let me know. Do you guys want to see the whole process where I just let the camera run and I do some modeling? Or do you like my other videos better where, you know, like in the Michigan build, where I get all the pieces, tell you what I'm going to do, I execute it, and then I go back and I show you what I did. It's, you know, they're a little bit shorter, quicker to the point. You just let me know. Maybe I could just mix it up. Some I'll do like that, some I'll do like this, depending on time constraints. Anyway, I'm rambling on now. Had a good time building these. Get out there, get in some games. It's a fantastic game, because I know a lot of us, we get stuck just banging out cars and we don't play. It happens to everybody, but the past couple of weeks I got a lot of games in and it felt great. All right, talk to you guys later. Have a good one.